What's up, Tweener heads? Welcome back to another Tweener at Tennis video today here on the channel, and today we are going to be looking at the women's Indian Wells singles main draw. Before you watch the rest of this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on so that way you join the Tweener at Tennis family, and that way you can allow us to grow as a community here on YouTube. Make sure to hit that like button, and I hope to see you guys soon. We're going to check out the Indian Wells women's singles main draw. Now, before we even get started, we have to point out the amount of players that are missing. And let me just read you off the list. So, Barty, Sabalenka, Osaka, Kenin, Brady, Serena, Muchova, Alexandrova, Konta, and Vesnina. Now, these are all the main draw acceptances, direct acceptance players that have signed up for the tournament and have pulled out already. Because Sabalenka was supposed to play this tournament, and she was in California, but she contracted COVID and is currently recovering, so she had to pull out of the tournament in general. And that was very recent. So, good luck to her, and I hope she has a safe recovery. Without Barty, without Osaka, without Kenin, without Serena, that poses a little bit of a problem because now the number one seed for this tournament is Karolina Pliskova. And that's not really a problem. That just creates a bigger target on Pliskova's back because she really hasn't had that much kind of experience as the number one seed. She has been number one in the world and has been a number one seed before, but this is a huge tournament. This is the creme de la creme in terms of tennis tournaments, and to have Pliskova be the number one seed, you never really know if she's going to fall or go all the way. So let's just dive right in and take a look at who she's facing off against. So right now you have Karolina Pliskova, Zhang versus McNally. McNally receiving a wild card. I like that. Pliskova playing Pliskova in that next round. Sheriff versus Dovinic playing the winner. They will play Podoroska. Kontaveit, who's been on fire lately, claimed the title this year in Cleveland. Huge win for her. Then he's going to face the winner of a qualifier in Muskova. Risk versus a qualifier, and they will play Bianca Andreescu. Bianca Andreescu, the current defending Indian Wells champion, we must not forget. Indian Wells hasn't been played in almost 2 years, so Andreescu is still the defending champion here at this tournament, and that was an unbelievable final. That was the year that she won at the U.S. Open as well, and she beat Kerber, and that was just a lot of fun to watch. So hopefully she can retain her title. She is the 16th seed here, so she would face off against Pliskova in that quarterfinal matchup right there. But she has to play Risk or a qualifier, and Risk is actually decent at taking down seeds, and Kontaveit has been on fire lately with her power tennis. So honestly, it could be a lot harder than she thinks to get to that quarterfinal spot to play Pliskova. If you go further down, you have Jabeur as the 12th seed, after having a fabulous run in Chicago and then losing to Muguruza in that final. She's still looking to make that push to possibly make the WTA finals in Mexico later this year. So she still has a chance, and she has a chance to go far right now. She is currently ranked number 12 in the world after making the finals in Chicago. So it's going to be very interesting to see how she does here, because the best player she would have to play would be Danielle Collins, according to seed. But Polona Hercog and Sevastova will give her a tough matchup no matter what. Later down, we have Sorribes Tormo versus Claire Liu, a good young American playing qualifier. A good young American playing a qualifier face Sorribes Tormo. Then you have Vondrasova versus Gulubic. No matter who wins this matchup right there in the 29-30 spot, playing Sakari in the next round is probably going to be one of the best matches at this tournament. So I'm very excited to see who plays her. Sakari just made it into the top 10. The highest ranking a woman has achieved in a very long time. So congratulations to her, because we have 2 Greek players now in the top 10 in men's and singles. So that's huge for that country and for sports in general. She will play either Tormo in that 3rd round spot and then Jabeur in the quarterfinals. I know we have a lot of new fans and a lot of Tunisian fans after our live stream from Jabeur. If Jabeur plays Sakari in this quarterfinal spot, we are definitely streaming that match. Then going to the bottom half of that draw, you have Krejcikova, who's going to be the 3 seed, who's going to face off against Nao Hibino versus a qualifier. This match right here, though, underneath, Anisimova versus Katrina Scott. That's going to be a really fun match to watch of 2 young Americans, up-and-coming Americans as well. They'll face Camila Giorgi, whoever wins that. Giorgi playing really well, claimed her first WTA title this past year. So whoever wins that and plays Giorgi is going to have a lot of fun and a lot of tough battles with Giorgi from the baseline there. Next, a young Spaniard that doesn't need to be introduced because Paula Bedosa has been on fire and everywhere in the WTA world right now. She will play Jacques Quimot versus Yastremska. Yastremska coming off that suspension after doping and being tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. That's just a different story. Carolina Garcia versus a qualifier. Winner of that will play Coco Gauff. If we get a Bedosa versus Gauff third round, that's going to be huge. I would love to watch that match, to be honest with you guys. Then you have Kerber playing Kim Clijsters or Katerina Siniakova. Kim Clijsters getting another wild card into this tournament. She got a wild card in Chicago. She didn't play that badly. According to people that watched the full match. I watched a little bit, but she played Sue Shea, and that's a nightmare to have when it comes to playing someone in the first round. But nevertheless, Clijsters versus Siniakova going to play Kerber in that second round matchup. And then below it, you have Donna Vekic versus a qualifier, and the winner of that plays Kasatkina. If we have Vekic play Kasatkina, this is like the bottom draw of who I don't want to lose, because I like to see Vekic and Kasatkina go far in this tournament. But nevertheless, it depends on who's going to play better. Kasatkina, I believe, made the semifinals or better in Cleveland this past year, so whoever's going to win that is going to give Kerber a tough chance in that third round. And I think Kerber's going to make it at least to the quarters in this part of the draw. Then you have Shimlindova versus Konju, playing the winner of Zidanchek. Zidanchek had that amazing run at Roland Garros this year. So let's see if she can continue that momentum on hardcourt, especially being a seeded player now here at Indian Wells and playing some tough players here in that second round matchup. Then you have Tomljanovic versus a qualifier, and the winner of that plays Muguruza. If we get Muguruza and Kerber in that quarterfinal spot, that's going to be a lot of fun. And the winner of that match will play the winner of the Krejcikova, Georgie, Bedosa, Gauff spot. And that, I don't care who wins that, that's going to be a really fun half of the draw to watch. Now on to the second part of the draw. You have Kvitova starting off the top half as the number 7 seed. She'll play either the tricky lefty Roos from the Netherlands, who's very good, versus a qualifier. Then you have Magdalenette versus Rebecca Peterson. They're going to face Azarenka in that second round spot. Azarenka looking really good right now in terms of form and hasn't been playing that much, but is still a very big threat, especially as a seeded player. Then you have the reigning U.S. Open champion, Emma Raducanu, who is literally adding every tournament possible to her schedule to possibly make the year-end WTA finals. But it's a lot to put on for someone who just lost their coach. Well, separated from their coach. I can't say lost. So it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out of that, because you have Rosario Serrano from Colombia playing Sasnovich, who's going to win that, is going to play Raducanu. Then you have Kostyuk versus Zhang. Decent matchup right there playing Halep. And Halep could play Raducanu, two of the most favorable players on tour playing against each other. And I believe Raducanu is part Romanian as well. Romanian, Chinese, and British, but she represents the British flag. So that's going to be a really fun matchup to watch. Both of them have lost their coach in the last 6 months. So we're going to have to see how that one plays out. Then you have Elise Mertens playing a qualifier, Sloane Stephens versus Heather Watson. Winner of that's going to be Pegula. Pegula was just announced to join the Billie Jean King Cup, which is the former Fed Cup for the women. She might take on fellow teammate Sloane Stephens, who was also selected for that in that second round spot. And that Pegula versus Mertens in that third round is going to be very interesting to watch. I highly recommend you guys check that one out if it does happen. Then Cirstea versus Ann Lee versus Doi. Ann Lee gave Muguruza a good run in Chicago, and she's a very up-and-coming American. Highly recommend you guys watch her. Ashlyn Kruger, wild card, young American, playing juniors, playing very well. Gets a wild card into this tournament. For the main draw, he's going to play Martinkova. Whoever wins that plays Svitolina. I think Svitolina is going to make it to at least that quarterfinal spot where she'll meet Mertens or Pegula in there. I don't think Sloane has a chance, to be honest with you guys. She has been playing well as of late, but in my mind, she still isn't in that top form that we saw her in 2017, and she crashed out of Chicago in that first round, so you never really know. Then for the last bottom half of this draw, you have Bencic as the top seed here, as the number 8 seed, playing Kalinina or Shelby Rogers in that second round. Begu versus Ferro is going to play Teichmann in that second round. Teichmann having a really good year right now. I believe she made the final with Golubic for doubles recently. Then you have Leila Fernandez, runner-up at the U.S. Open, playing Elise Cornet or a qualifier. That's going to be really fun to watch. Fernandez, another player that has been outgoing, boisterous, excuse me, boisterous, and a lot of fun to watch, and a crowd favorite. She'll play the winner of Cornet or a qualifier. Then you go down Kaya Kanepi, a person known to take out seeds and big names in the first rounds of big tournaments. And she plays someone like Madison Keys. Madison Keys would have to play Pavlyuchenkova. So Fernandez versus Pavs. I actually would see Fernandez getting far in this draw if she's still fresh off that run at U.S. Open. So Fernandez I would pick to make the quarterfinals here just because of her form. And then you have Rybakina, who shouldn't need no introduction. She's the silent assassin, in my opinion. Then playing the winner of Petkovic and Putintseva. Putintseva just lost in her final in Astana, losing to Van Uchuk. But Putintseva is a tough battle, especially against a seasoned veteran like Petkovic. So I'm still going to take Rybakina in that second round matchup, depending on who she plays. Then you have Brangle versus Shea. I'm going to pick Shea. Then she could really cause problems for Ostapenko, who's seeded at this tournament, which you don't see that very often anymore. So, in my opinion, I'm going to have Rybakina playing Shea in that bottom half in the third round, and then Rybakina making it on to the quarterfinals. Then you have Kudermetova playing the qualifier, or Samsonova, another Russian. The Russian Billie Jean King Cup, say that 5 times fast, is unbelievable. So I'm just going to put up their roster right here. The fact that their team is that stacked is unbelievable, and I personally, I would have them being the favorites to win the title there. Then you have Katie Volonitz, who we've interviewed. Check out our interview with her down in the description below, or the card right here. Playing Petra Martic, a tough Croatian beat. This Croatian beat Dalmagalfi in the first round of the U.S. Open, our friend of the channel. But let's see if Volonitz can take her revenge for tweener heads that have been on the channel with us. And we have Grace, and for those who have joined our channel and talked to us about their life, that's going to be playing Swiatek. And Swiatek, to be honest, I actually thought this was a really good quote on Twitter that I saw was, we pressure clay courters to win a title on a different surface, but when we see hard courters play on clay, we don't expect much else. So I thought that was interesting, because we're going to have to see how Swiatek plays on hard court here. But Swiatek is good on hard court and on clay. Just because her main and biggest title was a Grand Slam at the French Open doesn't mean she's not good at any other surface. So she actually might make the quarterfinals against Rybakina. But then again, I hope both of them win, because I love both the players. I love both their playing styles. Swiatek, to me, kind of reminds me of a Barty, where she has tools in her Batman belt to throw anything at a player. And Rybakina, just so composed and so quiet on court, but she gets the job done, which is huge. But that is the draw for the women's singles of this year's Indian Wells. I honestly think it's funny, because I think that it would have been Sabalenka's to win in my mind, or Osaka's to win in my mind. But for me, I don't think Andreescu's going to retain the title. I think she'll make a quarterfinal or semi-final run, but I never really know for sure. Jabeur is looking to make and keep that momentum, so she'll meet Sakkari in that quarterfinal matchup. So if Jabeur can make it to the semis, I think she could definitely take out Pliskova if she didn't play like the second and third set that she did in Chicago against Muguruza. That wasn't the best tennis that we saw from her. I think Muguruza is going to continue her form to make the semifinals here. Whether or not she can pass Krejcikova, which I definitely think she can, is going to be interesting to see, because then you'd have 2 Grand Slam champions facing off against each other. And she faced another former Grand Slam champion in Kerber as well. Let's see, who else? Halep versus Radicanu. That's a good matchup. Fernandez versus Pavlyuchenkova. And then I think I would see Bencic losing to Fernandez in that 4th round spot, quarterfinal spot. So let's be honest. This is going to be a fun tournament to watch. Let me know what your guys' predictions are down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of the tournament.